Hi, this is PG Korn live from the World Cyber Games 2002. We are showing the StarCraft Nations Cup now, since the main tournament is almost finished. The only remaining game is the final match between Slayers Boxer and Yellow, both from Korea, which is going to be broadcasted at 6 p.m. Korean time today. For those of you who don't know what the Nations Cup is, it was held last year as well. Every participating country with at least 2 StarCraft players can basically provide a 2-on-2 team, and then it's basically country against country in 2-on-2 matches. The last year's winner was China, followed by a surprising second place of Germany. And Germany has previously beaten Korea last year, so that was quite a surprise. This game now is Korea against the USA. On the Korean side, we have the Zerg pro gamer GrandFinal and the Terran player Odyssey, who are both knocked out of the tournament now. And on the USA side, we have the Terran player Frost and the Protoss player Weir. So the matchup is supposedly going to be Zerg and Terran against Protoss and Terran. I'm not sure about the map yet, it hasn't been announced. But I think it will be one of the official WCG maps. Now Frost has had an amazing performance in this tournament, I have to say, because he has beaten Slayers Boxer twice. But unfortunately he got knocked out of the final round quite early. I was actually thinking, after I saw him beating Slayers Boxer twice, that he would be one of the candidates to make top 4 in this tournament. On the other hand, Weir didn't make it past the group competition. I think he was knocked out with 4 wins and 3 losses, so he didn't advance to the next round. And Odyssey, the Korean Terran player, he lost to Blackman, and after that he lost to, well, I think he lost to Gru, I'm not sure. And GrandFinal lost to Elki, and before he lost to Elki, he lost to Slayers Boxer, I think. So I hope they will show the map now. Actually, there might be some more broadcasting of the Nations Cup in StarCraft as well. Just make sure you keep checking the worldcybergames.org page for the latest updates. And for all these replay enthusiasts out there, pretty much all the group replays are now available. And if we have some luck, you can download the first final round replays as well, featuring some amazing games. For example, Guru against Elki, Boxer against Yellow, Blackman against Boxer, and so on. There we see the stage with the 4 competitors. On the left hand side you can see the 2 Koreans, on the right hand side you can see Frost and Weir. The Korean on the left, I think it's Odyssey, and the Korean on the right is Starsin, also known as GrandFinal. And for the Americans on the left hand side, there's Frost, and on the right hand side you can see Weir. Basically, since it's weekend tonight, today, for you it's probably tonight, there are much more visitors here than usually. Not only in this theater where the games are played, but also outside on the exposition area. And of course there will be loads of visitors watching the final game between Yellow and Boxer. And since Boxer comes from the winner's bracket, it's going to be a modified best of 3. being a best of 3 where Boxer gets 1 default win. So Boxer only needs to win once, while Yellow would have to win twice in a row to be able to secure the championship of the WCG 2002. The first map they are going to play is Hall of Valhalla, which gives Terran a big edge over Zerg. And taking into consideration that Boxer has already beaten Yellow in this tournament, and that he's pretty much the best Terran Zerg player out there, I think Boxer is the clear favorite for the for this year's title. When I watched the television here in Korea this morning, I could actually see some interviews with Fisheye, because the Korean people were quite amazed that he was able to beat Ge and knock him out of the competition eventually, because Ge lost to Elki afterwards. So basically the guy from Peru, Jose, and Fisheye are quite famous here. Frost as well, because he has beaten Boxer twice. So I think the Korean media now thinks that the foreign StarCraft players, I mean the non-Korean StarCraft players, have really caught up and are almost at the same level as the Korean pro gamers right now. So we might see some more foreign players joining the on-GameNet League and the GemTV League here in Korea. I know for sure that Nazgul is going to stay here for 2 more months after the WCG, and he will try his luck as a pro gamer. And I think he might be quite successful. He has some weaknesses against Zerg, but his protest against Terran and protest against Protoss is really amazing, I have to say. Okay, now the game is about to start now. Actually, I cannot imagine what the Korean commentators are talking about right now. Before every game, they just keep talking and talking, which is quite funny. And it's quite hard for me to keep up, you know. On the other hand, it's 3 against 1, which is a little bit unfair as well. As you see, there are 3 Korean commentators, and I think they ask each other questions and answer the questions and so on. Right, okay, I might just say something about the... there comes the map finally, after like 10 minutes of just talking. Okay, the map is going to be Lost Temple, which is quite a nice choice, I would say, because Lost Temple is basically the most popular StarCraft map, and it's one of the most balanced maps as well. Basically every single StarCraft player in the world does know Lost Temple and has played it, so it's always quite interesting to watch games played on Lost Temple. For 2-on-2, the starting positions are quite crucial. I don't know if they play the game mode top versus bottom, which was just included in the patch 1.08, or if they just play standard melee game. If they choose top versus bottom, I think StarCraft does it in such a way that the teams are basically next to each other. So whoever gets the 12 and the 3 spot will have a big advantage, because 12 and 3 are generally better on Lost Temple than 6 and 9 are, meaning the starting positions. But I think the Korean team games are always played on melee. I might be mistaken though. Regarding the races, I would say that Terran against Protoss does indeed have a slight advantage over Terran and Zerg. Although Terran and Zerg on Lost Temple has quite a good chance to control all the cliffs and thus preventing the opponent from expanding easily by going Mutalisk and dropships with tanks. Which is quite risky though, because it might get rushed early on by Zealots and Marines supported with medics. So in general I would say that this matchup, Zerg Terran against Terran Protoss, is pretty much balanced on Lost Temple. So we can expect a quite tense and close game. And hopefully it won't be over early by a cheesy rush. Okay, the game is just about to start. Oh, surprisingly, it's actually Starcenter, Zerg, and Force and Where both go Terran. They both go Terran. I actually expected Where to pick Protoss, but he didn't. Well, he's quite a decent Terran player as well. He told me that he plays Protoss against Terran and Terran against Protoss, so it's kind of mixed up. I'm not too sure how powerful Terran is in 2 versus 2 though. I think in general it's better to pick 2 different races in 2 and 2 if you are a team, because you can always use the strengths of one race and your ally can help to counter its weaknesses. And this is actually not really possible if both players pick Terran. So we'll see what strategies they are going to do. We have Where as teal and Frost as violet, Starcenter as red and Odyssey as yellow on the minimap. Frost is on the 12 o'clock position and Where is on the 9 o'clock position, while Starcenter is at 6 and Odyssey is at 3. So the positions are pretty much balanced, I would say. It's not that one team had gotten 12 and 3 and the other team had gotten 9 and 6, so you can expect a close game. And as far as I can see right now, there's no cheesy strategy by any one of the players. So no like 7 Rex or really early pool. So you see Odyssey, this is oh, this is pretty much confusing. I think this is Frost, violet is Frost, and teal is Where. They're only just building SCVs, and here we see the first supply depot made by Where. And I think Frost and Odyssey have started. Oh no, I think Odyssey might have started a barracks quite close to his choke point. Oh, and there's a barracks of Where as well. And I can't see any attempt to produce an early wall-in, except probably by Frost, which we don't see at this moment. The Zerg player has just started gas and pool. This might be a speedling build. We can tell later if he pulls his drones out of the gas, and it's definitely a speedling build. And Odyssey's barracks is just about to get finished. The only player who's gone gas so far is John V. And Frost does a wall-in at his choke, and he just got a barracks. And he might get a second barracks, or he might get gas and a supply depot at his wall-in to close it. It's not decided yet. While Where definitely gets a second barracks inside his main, he kind of hides it. So they might be opting for a surprise rush. Oh, and there is a second barracks of Frost. So both players are going Marines and Medics later on, or just Marines. And they are planning to do some damage quite early in the game. Now the question is if the Koreans are able to defend. Oh, there are the first Zerglings. The first Zerglings of Yunvi arrive. Supported by a Marine of Odyssey. So you will have quite a hard time to defend this attack. But I think he will be able to defend it. Oh, this is pretty close. Because it's hard to defend the wall-in against Marines and Zerglings. Oh, no, no, no. He's not going to defend it. This game is going to be over pretty much early. And Force is in great danger, and you can tell it from the look of his face. And I think John V is just going straight to Lurkers now. He's going straight to Lurkers. Odyssey sends more Marines. Would be quite sad if the game was over that early, but it really looks like. Yes, yes. Oh. There are Marines. There are Marines by Where trying to defend as well. Frost just was complaining about Batman. Oh no, the Marines of Where are actually going to the Zerg base. 4 Marines against just drones. Ah, so this might equal the score actually. No, it's actually 6 Marines right now. So this means pretty much goodbye to all the drones. But he just runs them away, which is quite a smart move, I have to say. It is quite a smart move. So the question is, will they be able to kill the hatchery just in time? And I think they will be able to kill the hatchery just in time, because Odyssey just decides to attack Weir with all his Marines. And I don't think that's a pretty good move. But, no, this attack is going to fail easily. Right, but I think that John V still has enough money to get a second hatchery because he just cancelled his lair. No, actually he's just getting an extractor. So he does, I think he doesn't have money for an extra hatchery. So it's, oh, and surprisingly Force is still alive. He's mining again from his command center. And so far there are, I think there's only 1 or 2 Zerglings inside his base. Or is it Marines, I can't say, because the observer doesn't show me. So this is pretty much even. This game is really close. John V's main base is destroyed entirely, and he only has 1 extractor so far. Oh, and there are Odyssey's Marines, joined by Zerglings to get rid of Weir's Marines. But anyways, the Zerg base has been destroyed. The American players are still having 2 bases mining, although Force bases is heavily damaged. There we see the first Marines of Weir, supported by medics, and Odyssey has medics as well. But I would say Odyssey has more Marines. Now this might pretty much end up to be a Terran against Terran match of Weir against Odyssey. And Odyssey is one of the best Terran players in the world, if not the best Terran player in the world, because he has eliminated Nada in the Korean preliminaries of the WCGC 2002. Okay. There John V kills the remaining SCVs of Weir and forces him to float his command center away. On the other hand, Odyssey is just preparing an attack on Weir's base with Marines and medics. So, let's see if the observer... Oh no, he quite smartly waits for reinforcements of Junvi. He has still some links. And Odyssey has... No, basically they have the same amount of Marines and medics, roughly. Although Odyssey has 6 medics, while Weir only has 2 medics. So it's pretty much a 1 versus 1 situation of Weir against Odyssey. Also there are some drones and some Zerglings of John V to support Odyssey's troops. Now I would like to know if Odyssey has siege tanks already. But I think he doesn't. No, he's just getting his machine shop. While Weir has his first tank out already, and I think he has almost finished his starport. So he has the advantage right now, because siege tanks are pretty much strong or even overpowered against Marines and medics. Because of the enormous amount of splash damage. But Odyssey has 3 barracks just producing Marines non-stop. So if they decide to have a battle right now, then it's going to be pretty close. Oh, it's like 24 Marines now. 24 Marines on Odyssey's side, supported by about 6 medics. And on Weir side it's Vultures, tanks, and Marines and medics. And both tanks and the Vultures are a good counter against Marines. So he really should try to push the attack now. Weir should really go forwards, and he shouldn't allow Odyssey to contain him with tanks. I don't know what he's waiting for, actually. I think there on the minimap you can see the first tank of Odyssey heading towards Weir's base. I might be mistaken though, because again the observer doesn't really pay attention. And I'm quite sure it is a siege tank because it's a single unit just coming to the base. And where shouldn't really wait any longer. There's a siege tank. Yes, it was a siege tank and it's sieging. Oh yeah, that's pretty much too late. That's really too late. Where should have moved out earlier. Or he should at least move out now. He has 3 tanks against 1 tank. And there comes a second tank on off Odyssey. You can see it on the minimap. Oh. Now the situation looks worse and worse for there because he just does. Oh! On the other hand, Odyssey is actually trying to attack now. And this might be a crucial mistake. Oh, but still Weir's too defensive. It's way too defensive to be able to defeat Odyssey here. Could have easily probably killed all the Marines and medics of Odyssey at a time where they weren't supported by any siege tanks. But he's just sitting there. I don't know what he's waiting for. He's getting Mustangs. The siege might actually be able to kill a lot of Marines. Oh yes, that was quite a good move. And he's killing a siege tank of Odyssey as well. So there's only 1 siege tank of Odyssey remaining. And now it's really time for Weir to attack. Cannot afford to wait any longer. He's so much outnumbering Odyssey's forces that if he goes for Odyssey right now, he's supposedly going to win the game. So what is he waiting for? If anyone knows Weir's cell phone number, please call him and tell him to attack. Okay, just kidding. There's a scouting barracks. Yeah, it's Weir's scouting barracks. And it gets destroyed by Odyssey's Marines. Oh, and Weir's managed to move some vultures out. And Odyssey retreats all his troops. He gives up the containment. And Weir already has an expansion. This looks pretty bad for Odyssey. The containment is broken. I hope Weir uses his chance to get out his troops. He shouldn't get contained again. Now, you see Weir's dropship is actually planning to kill the Marines and medics from the high ground. Oh no, he kills the extractor. Oh, that's quite a smart move. He kills the extractor of John V and knocking him out of the game. So John V cannot assist Odyssey with scouting anymore. And this is good game for Junvi. He's knocked out of the game right now. No, he isn't. Oh, surprisingly, he still has an extractor. He still has one at the 12 o'clock natural expansion. So he's still in the game, not being able to do anything except some scouting, actually. Actually, I think Odyssey has just secured his cliff against drops. Yes. So if we are smart, he will scan before he tries to land on the cliff. And if he is even smarter, he would probably try to save Forces Island expansion. I mean, he would just have to drop like 4 Marines, 1 medic and some SCVs, and Forces expansion would be pretty much safe. He only has 2 SCVs there at the moment, but in the long run he can build up a fully running base. So he should really scan right now before he tries to absorb that cliff. He has probably scanned it before, so he does know where the turrets are. Yes, he does know where the turrets are. Oh, don't run away. He wants his 2 tanks away from just 3 Marines and medics. Oh, don't know. This is... I'm pretty much speechless because it's a really close situation. Odyssey just managed to kill all of Weir's tanks with support from the low ground. That was quite a good move. Weir's drop wasn't ideal though. He could have just dropped all his 4 siege tanks straight away on the left-hand side of the cliff, and if he had sieged them all, there would pretty much be no chance for Odyssey to get rid of them quite easily. So this was a mistake, by the way, I have to say. And Odyssey has a second base running now. He has the siege tank attack upgrade. And I think he has more forces than Ware has. So I think Ware's pretty much showing too much respect for Odyssey here. There were quite a few situations where he could have attacked. Oh, where he could have attacked Ware, but he didn't use them. Now Force has just been knocked out of the game by losing his last building, and Odyssey is just about to kill Ware's natural expansion with Marines, Medics, and 2 tanks on the cliff. Oh, but Ware's an amazing amount of units at his main plateau, so he's going to defend that, although he's suffering some casualties. And he still has to get rid of the units, the 2 siege tanks at his cliff. If he has a dropship, this wouldn't be a problem. Question is if he has one. Yeah, there is a dropship. So he can just load 4 Goliaths into the dropship and unload them on top of the siege tanks. Oh, he's actually getting 4 dropships to make sure. I don't know if they're all full though. Oh, okay, he got rid of the siege tanks quite easily. Okay, he gets rid of the siege tanks quite easily right now. There comes the single race, who gets severely damaged by Goliath. Does he? Yeah, it even gets killed by the Goliath. That was pretty much a waste. Well, Odyssey is at 2 bases amassing dropships and troops. He has stopped marine production. Ah, and Ware's now going for the drop, but John V's drone scouts it. So Odyssey can really prepare for the drop now. And if Ware's smart, he decides not to drop anymore. At least not at Odyssey's main base. Oh. Okay, there was one drone of John V who gets killed. And Odyssey is heading for Ware's expansion cliff to finish it off with a big drop. And we will see if Ware's able to defend it. Oh, this is pretty much not easy to defend. It's about 6 siege tanks, supported by some Marines. Now, if these dropships aren't completely full, then it's going to be close. Oh, this is actually... No, he cannot defend it. There are still 4 siege tanks remaining. And they are shooting at Ware's expansion. So if Ware's losing their expansion, he will lose the game, because his main base is out of resources. And Odyssey's base, on the other hand, Odyssey's main base is out of resources as well. Odyssey just tries to expand to the 6 o'clock position, and he secures it with turrets as well. While Ware now finally kills, I think it's the final extractor of John V. Does he still have one? No! John V is out of the game, finally. So it's just Odyssey and Ware remaining. Oh, and there's a big drop of Odyssey on Ware's siege tanks at 12. And Odyssey manages to kill them all and to kill Ware's Goliath as well. So Odyssey has pretty much gained map control now. Ware's just finished his mineral-only expansion. And Odyssey sees it with a scouting medic. And Odyssey... Oh, and Ware's expanded to the island as well. So, Odyssey is clearly better off in troops. But at the moment, Ware's mining more resources. Although this is changing right now because Odyssey is about to kill Ware's mineral-only expansion. He's assaulting it with 3 siege tanks and 4 Goliaths. And Ware's defending with siege tanks from his cliff. But the expansion is going to die. Or actually it's forced to lift off. Depends. I think it's going to die. And Ware looks pretty much worried now. He has stopped Odyssey's expansion at 6 AM though. And he still has the island expansion. So this might be a really long turn against Terran game. If Ware is able to defend this attack by Odyssey. Oh, Ware just loses his dropship, but he might be able to kill the siege tank of Odyssey. Oh, this is pretty much close. No, but he doesn't kill the siege tank. There's still a single siege tank in front of Ware's natural expansion. It has 1 armor and 1 attack upgrade, but this is pretty much useless in current Terran. Of course, all Terran units tend to do a lot of damage, so 1 additional armor point doesn't really matter. Ware's expansion is pretty much running, but he doesn't have any units left. He's trying to get reinforcement with dropships right now to get rid of that single. Oh no! Oh, there's again 4 siege tanks in front of his face, and oh, even more on his main plateau. I don't think that he's able to defend. This is really close. No, but he's not able to defend it. There are too many siege tanks. It's 6 siege tanks, some Goliaths against Ware's SCVs, and the SCVs completely get wasted. So Ware's natural expansion is going to die. And if it just dies, then Ware only has the expansion in the top left corner, while Odyssey still has his natural expansion up and running, and he's trying to get another expansion at the 12 o'clock natural. So this game might be over quite soon. I think if Ware's going to lose his natural expansion and his main base now, he's going to surrender. Natural expansion is gone already. It's gone, all his CVs are destroyed, and he's forced to float his command center away. While Odyssey is expanding to the 12 o'clock main base and 12 o'clock natural expansion. So in a few minutes he will be at 4 running bases, while Ware is definitely just down to 1 island expansion. And Odyssey is just assaulting Ware's main base. Ware has about 4 tanks and 4 Goliaths there, almost 5 tanks and 4 Goliaths. They're on the high ground, so Odyssey will have quite a hard time to destroy Ware's main base. Although he's outnumbering really hard now. He's probably twice as many troops as Ware has. Now on the minimap we can see that Odyssey is transferring SCVs to his newly established expansions at 12. So he's at 4 bases now. But Ware quite smartly is heading for these 2 new bases right away with 4 dropships. And I don't think that Odyssey has any defenses there, so he might be losing that expansion right now. Oh yes, that was quite a smart move by Ware. He just keeps Odyssey at 1 base by killing these expansions right now, and that was quite a crucial, a really important move. So it brings him back into the game. If he had allowed Odyssey to secure these 2 expansions, then he would have lost the game. Definitely. But now he's back into the game because he still has the island expansion. So it's 1 running base of Ware against 1 running base of Odyssey. I mean, Odyssey is going to discover Ware's island, but if Ware is quite smart, he will defend it sufficiently. And I think that Odyssey's natural expansion is almost out of resources. Oh, there Odyssey tries to assault Ware's troops from the low ground at 12. But it fails, he loses most of his tanks. And there comes the attack on Ware's island, which is undefended. Oh. It's 8 Goliaths on the undefended island of Ware. And this island is going to die, which is pretty much sad. Because now Ware's back to 0 bases, basically. His main base is 1 out of resources. He's going to lose his island. And Odyssey still has his natural base running. So, the only chance Ware has at this moment is to finish off Odyssey's natural expansion right now. With all his troops. And I think this is what he's going to do. Or going to try at least. He has to finish off Odyssey's natural expansion now. But he's not going to do it. I think he's moving his dropships away. He's moving them towards his main base to defend his main base. I mean, even if he manages to defend his main base, Odyssey being at 2 bases can easily attack again. And there are quite a few siege tanks there. So I think Rare's troops are not enough to get rid of all these siege tanks in front of his main base. Oh, Janvi is just watching Odyssey playing, while Force is watching Rare playing. It would be quite funny if Force would watch Odyssey playing actually, but he doesn't. So, oh yeah, huge reinforcements of Odyssey just move towards Rare's main base, which is the only remaining base of him. He has defended the initial attack, so he does have a command center building, I think, at his natural expansion. And Odyssey's attack is probably going to be successful. Yes. And this is basically good game. That's game over. Rare's just about to surrender, I think. He has no bases, no troops. No chance to win the game anymore. While Odyssey is at 2 running bases. Yes, Rare surrenders. So Korea is able to defeat the USA in the Nations Cup. At some stages in the game it was quite close, but as I see it, Rare just didn't take the chances he had to. He had to take. The USA could have won this match, but in the end, Odyssey's turn against Terran's kills remained superior. So make sure you keep checking worldcybergames.org for the recent updates, because there will definitely be more broadcasting of StarCraft today. And make sure you don't miss the grand final of Slayer's Boxer against Yellow at 6 PM Korean time. This was PT Korn. See you next time. Bye.